okay, I want to talk about the corruption in the DOJ. So many of us already know, we see what's happening, but every time you think, how far will they go? They seem to go a little further. The point is, it seems like they have no stopgap. It seems like nothing is going to stop them of achieving their goal, which is to continue to imprison people they disagree with politically. They've gone far and beyond the norm. For instance, they are going after President Trump's lawyers, people who gave him legal advice. Think about this. They can't prove intent because there was no intent. During the 2020 election, President Trump went to his representative lawyers and said, well, what can we do as far as challenging the election? Because I think it is what it is. I believe it was taken from me. So they give him political advice, and everything they do, if you look at it, even as far as asking Mike Pence to challenge the electors and actually send it back to the states, was totally legal as far as the Constitution goes. And why do I say that? Because shortly after that happened, what did the Democrats do? They went and changed whether or not the vice president can send it back to the states. There itself tells you. So where do they stand as far as legally? I don't think they have any foot to stand on, but they're going to go on with this process. They're going to try to put judges who will see things their way and try to convict President Trump. It's totally obvious by now. So what is their next step? Well, as we all know, the GOP has been investigating the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden corruption schemes that they've been doing for years. And it turns out that the GOP states that they now actually have criminal evidence and we're going to do use subpoenas to get all the information they need and actually be able to probably have Joe Biden prosecuted. So what does Joe Biden's DOJ or Merrick Garland now do? They decide to appoint a special prosecutor. Why would they do that? In fact, they assigned David Weiss. Who's David Weiss? David Weiss is the prosecutor from Delaware who has already been investigating Hunter Biden and the Joe Biden fiasco. And what has he achieved? Well, David Weiss, in all his investigations, has managed to bumble, stumble, and cause problems within the Hunter Biden investigation. And what exactly do I mean by that? Well, this prosecutor, David Weiss, has actually managed to allow Hunter Biden's tax investigation to expire. He allowed the statute of limitations to expire so Hunter Biden couldn't be prosecuted under these statutes. What else has he done? He even allowed Hunter Biden to take a plea deal, which a judge immediately saw as a ruse and decided to say no deal here, because in the plea deal, it allowed for Hunter Biden to never be prosecuted for any previous crimes and potentially future crimes that the DOJ might find that he committed. So what does the judge do? She says, no, this case is not only probably unconstitutional, it's unprecedented, and I can't sign off on this. So basically, while they go after Trump for any silly little thing that they construed as a crime, which in fact, he got this information for his lawyers, so they're now going after his lawyers. They assigned a prosecutor, which already has been proven to bumble, stumble, or let's say he didn't bumble and stumble. He's actually trying to cover up crimes by the Bidens, because I don't think any good prosecutor would allow this kind of stuff to happen, to allow statute of limitations to expire when he's investigating these particular crimes, to allow plea deals that probably are unconstitutional, because that's what the judge says. But then as they're about to drop evidence, think about this, they're about to drop evidence that potentially put Joe Biden in the way of criminal harm. They appoint a special prosecutor. Why would they do that now? Because the GOP wants to subpoena records, but now it became harder, because when they try to subpoena records, guess what they're going to say? Well, we can't give you these records because this information is now under investigation. Sneaky trick, huh? So my point is, as they continue to go after President Trump for these ridiculous crimes, they're continually trying to protect Joe Biden from actual crimes. You see what I'm saying? All this special prosecutor is a shield for Joe Biden. Because think about how long, whenever you've seen a special prosecutor appointed, how long it takes to even come out with eventually, which was no crimes. It takes years. So now the GOP can't find special evidence because they're gonna say it's being investigated. You see what I'm saying? You see how the corruption continues to erode what we want when we once had a constitutional country? So I'm just going to break this down. So far, they have not tried Hunter Biden anything to do with all the criminality that's on his laptop. They let his taxes expire so they couldn't charge him criminally for tax evasion or whatever else they had on his taxes. They tried to give him a plea deal where they could never go after him from any other crimes. Think about that. Think about that. Yet every day they're coming up with new charges, new claims against President Trump. Do we honestly have a fair and equal justice system right now, or do we have what I would call a banana republic? Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you just to see the schemes that's going on behind the scenes, that we have people who are claiming to apply the law fair and equally to everybody, which obviously we know it's not. I'm not even going to begin to talk about how they went after conservative parents in the schools. We all know that. How they've gone after their political opponents, on and on and on. How they made January 6th to be the biggest crime in the history of the United States. Yet we will look at what left-wing radicals have done to this country, the immense amount of destruction that they have caused, the amount of assaults and murders they have caused, and nothing is ever done. Nothing is ever done. Just look to 2020. How many people were arrested for the amount of people that were killed in the 2020 riots? Just think about that. Anyway, I thought I'd bring this little bit of news to you because it's frustrating and really apprehensible to see what's happening in our country. Do we even have a country anymore? Is the United States anymore? I don't see it as that. I think we have something else going on right now. But we have to continue to fight. We have to continue to march on and try to change things for the better. How do we do it? Got to get involved. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.